What's up YouTube, this is Guy, and today on the channel we are going to be checking out some Hirsch Leather Straps. My first time checking out these straps, and I'm really happy to have them here for review. I did a video a while ago, and in that video I had mentioned that I had not checked out any Hirsch straps yet. Well, Amy here from Global Watch Band sent me a message saying that she'd be happy to send me some over for review if I'd like. I said absolutely, I'd appreciate that, and here they are. Global Watch Band is an online authorized retailer for both Hirsch and Hadley Roma, and I believe they've been in business for something on the order of about 18 years now, since around 2000. So yeah, big thank you to Amy over at Global Watch Band for sending these straps over. If you guys want to head over to their website and check them out, I highly recommend it. It is globalwatchband.com. So we've got everything laid out here on the table. I've got my spring bar tools. I've got my test subjects. The watches that I'm going to be using today are, of course, the Jeannot Ocean Rover. A lot of people think that putting dive watches on leather is kind of sacrilegious. I don't know, I wanted to try it out. I figured why not. Also, I have my Hamilton Khaki Field. Both of these have 20mm lugs. All of these straps that Amy sent over to me are 20mm strap or lug width straps. So those are the watches we're going to be using to try out some of these straps. Before I start throwing straps on watches, and I'm not going to do them all because I have like 8 straps here and that'll take forever. I'll do a few. Before we start that though, I will show you each of these straps individually and give you a little bit of information about them. Then I'll pick out a couple of my favorites and throw them on the test watches, put them on the wrist, see how they look, and give you guys my feedback. Alright, I've cleared off the table. I'm going to show you each of these straps individually. First ones I want to show you, it's actually 2, but we'll do this one first. These are the Hirsch Performance series or line of straps. They're actually really interesting. Of all of the straps that Amy sent me, these are kind of the most unique, and you'll see why here in a moment. First things first, you can see that we have what appears to be a standard leather strap, and let me slide this apart so that we can see both sides a little more closely. It would appear to be a standard leather strap, and you would be right partially. On the undersides, instead of a leather lining, what we have is this vulcanized rubber. I believe it is called, it's like a carcoche or something like that. I'm probably mispronouncing it or misremembering. But what we have here is a calf skin leather top with this rubberized underside. What this does is, as they call it, their performance line of straps, makes it completely waterproof, which is really cool, and I'm probably going to throw one of these on the dive watch. It is hypoallergenic, which is not the case for most leather straps that have a leather lining. So 2 interesting aspects or features about these performance straps that, yeah, I think are pretty cool. On top of that, it has a very simple Hirsch signed tang buckle. You have a nice, somewhat contrast stitching on this particular model in a very nice, smooth, brown calfskin leather top side. Sticker price on this, $99.95. Not super inexpensive straps by any stretch of the imagination, but some really cool options for people that want the look of a leather strap with the performance of a rubber or a silicone strap. You're going to kind of get both in one here with this one. Along with that James model that I just showed you, we also have this, I assume that's Arne model. Similar kind of top side. I believe this is a kind of, on the website it was listed as both calf leather and like a sailcloth. I don't exactly know, but same hardware, stainless steel tang style buckle. That same rubberized underside. It's a really cool, very interesting material. Set that one side down. It is very flexible, as you can see here. It seems to me that it would be very comfortable. You get a lot of, I guess you would say it would, aerate really well because of all of these channels that are molded into that rubberized underside. It's actually a really cool technology. I'm excited to try these ones out. A few other specs about both of these performance series straps, and I'll pull the James one also into frame here. They are Lengthwise, 120 millimeters by 80 millimeters. So the short side is 80 millimeters. The long side is 120, of course. They are 5.5 millimeters in thickness on this Arne one, and 4.5 millimeters in thickness on this James. So there's a slight variation in the overall thickness. Either way, they're both pretty thin and, again, extremely flexible. All of the rest of the straps that Amy sent me are, standard leather straps, but I'm really impressed with all of them. Again, my first time checking out Hirsch straps, and I've tried out a number of different leather straps in the past. None really super high-end, like $200+ leather straps, but in the realm of affordability, when we're talking about straps like collar rib, I've checked out a few of those in the past. Barton straps, which I liked very much. Some leather straps from Clockwork Synergies is another example. I've tried out a bunch of them. These stand up to all of them in terms of the overall quality from my initial impressions anyway. So this one here is what they call Buffalo, relatively affordable, $40. It's actually one of my favorites. The Buffalo strap is a top calf skin with a really, really nice grain to it, a white or linen style contrast stitching, and a nice a lining on the underside here as well. You can see there's the artisan leather Hirsch 20 millimeters. Obviously, they're all 20 millimeter straps. The same basic stainless steel hardware, little pin buckle or tang style buckle, a couple of keepers, one sewn in and one floating, of course, which is typical. Then we have the tag here on that one, which I'll take off when I try these on the different watches. This particular model here is also 120 millimeters for the long side, 80 millimeters for the short side, and an overall thickness of 5 millimeters. So relatively thin. It's not super bolstered or padded. It feels like there might be a little bit of bolstering right here in the top, but it's not aggressive. I don't really like straps that have a very thick bolstering or padding in the top end, is relatively common, especially in dress straps. That's not my favorite. So I'm glad that most of these don't have that. There's one example that does have it. I'll show you that one last. But this is, again, the Hirsch Buffalo, and we'll move right along. The next model we're checking out here is the Liberty. This is an extremely popular strap from Hirsch. I've seen this recommended by people for a long time. Whenever anyone is saying, I need a leather strap, what should I get? Hirsch Liberty always seems to pop up. $49.95 is the price. It is also calf skin top leather. It feels very, very thick and chunky, actually. It's got a contrast stitching, which comes over the edge here at the top, comes all the way around. The buckle side also the same. The underside is not lined, though, and I like a lining on the underside, because you can feel the stitching coming through on an unlined strap. Some people don't mind that, or they like an unlined strap. My preference is to have a lining, but it's, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I guess. The basic specs about this, again, 120 millimeters on the long side, 80 millimeters on the short side, basic standard Hirsch signed stainless steel pin buckle, and a thickness on this one. The spec said it was only 4 millimeters thick, but I almost don't believe that. It seems to me that it would be a little bit thicker than 4 millimeters, just looking at it in the hand. But it's an extremely popular strap. It is nice. I will probably try this one on the Hamilton khaki, maybe. I haven't decided yet, but we'll check a couple of them out here in a few minutes. Next one here is a strap that I like a lot. This is called the Ranger. Price point $64.95. This one is black. Now remember, all of these have multiple color variations. So, this one comes in a black and a brown and maybe a third color option, I forget. This one, I had mentioned collar rib. This one kind of reminds me of a basic collar rib strap. And those straps come in at prices between $40 and $60 as memory serves. But I like this one better because the collar rib straps that I had in the past weren't lined. And this one has a very nice lining. This strap is barrel dyed calf leather is what they call it. So that's how you're obviously getting this deep black dye all the way throughout up until that very thin lining layer. 120 millimeters by 80 millimeters, same standard pin buckle. Actually, this one looks a little bit bigger, maybe just More or less the same though. The only stitching on this is right around the tongue, and then a couple of side stitches over at the top, and then on this side you got a couple of side stitches by the buckle. This thickness is, and this is why I probably like this one the most, only 3.5 millimeters thick. So very, very low profile. I like a very thin, low profile strap. It's, flexible, pliable, nothing like the Performance Series straps that were, had that vulcanized underside of the rubber material. But I like a thin strap that's very flexible. It's going to break in and conform to your wrist really nicely. This is probably my favorite of the bunch. But, it's certainly not the most expensive or elaborate. It's probably one of the more simple ones. Next one we're going to check out here is the Heritage Strap, $89.95. This is probably my least favorite of the samples that were sent to me. This is more of a dress strap, and it has that thick padding or bolstering up in the top end of the strap on both sides. I just don't really like that. I don't know. It's just me. Some people dig it, and that's cool if you do. Coloration on this one is, I think this is the honey option. I believe there's 4 different color variations. It would probably be my least favorite coloration, but if you like that sort of light brown honey color, that's an option for you guys. This is also the thickest strap of the bunch. This one comes in at 6 millimeters in thickness. It does have a very nice calfskin leather lining. The stitching is non-contrast stitching. It matches up with the dye color of the calfskin leather very well. Get that same, stainless steel simple buckle. And a couple of keepers, like most of these, one sewn in and one floating. Overall, yeah, a really good quality strap, just probably my least favorite of the bunch. Last but not least, Amy sent me 2 of these straps. And these are called the Rebel. They are $79.95. I have a black and then I have a brown. This is, well, first thing, let's look at the leather itself. I like the quality of the leather. It's got a nice grain or texture to it. The tongue side is kind of squared off. It has a very good stitch that is non-contrasting all the way down at the opposing end. Same, stainless steel high polished buckle. A couple of keepers, one sewn in and one floating. The thickness on this is just 3 millimeters. So technically this is the thinnest strap in the selection that I was sent. However, it is 240 millimeters long. You can see it's a solid one-piece leather strap. They kind of describe this on the website as being like a NATO strap, except if you see these 2 little gizmos here, this is how you attach, let me see if I can get the camera to focus on them. This is how you attach them, or the watch head to it. So you would attach each one of these to the top and the bottom, the 6 and the 12 o'clock side of your watch. And then, as you can see on the black one, which is wearing them, you just slide them on, and you position it wherever you want your watch. And you have, ample buckle holes here. If you find that this was too long, unlike a standard NATO strap, what would you do? Like, you can't really fold it back over on itself since it's not super thick leather, but nevertheless it is leather. I'm interested to see how this is going to fit and wear on the wrist. It's a cool concept. It's an interesting idea. I've never used a standard NATO strap in leather before, and since this deviates from that, I'm not exactly sure what to expect. I do like it though, in terms of the overall quality. I think it's well made. It's got a nice underside lining, and overall, initial impressions are good. It's just, this whole connectivity system is different and interesting. It's new, I guess I should say. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this James Performance Series strap on the Jeannot, however you say it, because it's a waterproof strap that looks, technically is a thin top layer of leather with that rubber underside. I think that makes the most sense for a dive watch. And then I'm going to put the very popular Liberty leather strap on the Hamilton, and we'll check them out. All right, I've got these straps installed. We have the Hirsch Performance Series, the James model, installed on the Jeannot, and we have the Hirsch Liberty installed on the Hamilton. Now, on the Hamilton, actually, I'll point this out. As I was installing it, I noticed this is very reminiscent of my Hamilton came on the metal bracelet. But I had a Hamilton khaki feel just like this on the stock leather. This is a very reminiscent look of that stock leather Hamilton strap. So people have said like, oh, should I get the bracelet? Should I get the leather strap in regards to this watch? And I guess this would apply to many watches. Always get the bracelet is my point, because you can pick up really good quality leather straps all over the place. I'll throw this one on the wrist first, and we'll see how it looks and how it feels, and give you my 2 cents. Alright, there is the Hirsch Liberty. Brown leather with white or linen contrast stitching on that Hamilton khaki. A little bit longer than I think I would like, because the tail just pokes out. If you have a bigger wrist, this is going to be perfect. If your wrist is much smaller, you have 2 additional adjustment holes, but just bear in mind that it's going to stick out. Now again, this was a 120mm by 80mm strap. They do have on the Global Watch Band website a search tool, so you can look for men's short, which would probably be like 170 by 70, or am I thinking correctly here? No, 110 by 70. The normal size is 120 by 80, so you'd probably want to order a short 110 by 70 strap if your wrist is smaller than mine, which is 6 3/4 inches. But overall, I can see why this strap is so popular. It's definitely nice. It's not conformed to my wrist, so it's kind of like bowed out. But once this leather breaks in, as leather always does, I expect that this would be a really good, comfortable strap. A little bit thicker than I would prefer. If you like a thicker, bulky strap, this would definitely be one for you. If I was going to throw leather on this watch, I would probably go with something like the Ranger strap here at that very thin 3.5 millimeters, as opposed to the Liberty coming in at 4.5, I think it was. But yeah, overall, definitely a high quality strap. All right, we're going to throw the Jeannot Ocean Rover wearing this performance strap. Again, that is the one with the rubberized underside with all of this aeration. Very, very flexible strap. I mean, very, very flexible. Overall, I really am impressed with this strap. Do bear in mind, and you'll probably see it already just after putting it on for a little while, if your the lug holes are too far in, you're going to get an interference, and you're going to scuff up your strap there. It seems like it's not touching, actually, in looking at it. It's just when I was installing it, I think I scuffed it up on the harsh edge of the underside of this watch. So, if you want to preserve your straps for as long as possible and not get those scuff marks there, yeah, be careful when you install it, and make sure that there's enough clearance on your watch head between the lugs and the body of the case. Alright, there it is on the Jeannot Ocean Rover, my 6 3/4 inch wrist. I think it looks pretty good, considering that this is and it's probably hard to tell in this lighting, the navy blue bezel with this golden printing on the bezel and the gold sandaloom. I think this brown, dark, deep brown leather, I think it looks really good on this watch. Now, I know a lot of people say you can't put a dive watch, leather on a dive watch, it's sacrilegious or whatever. This is as waterproof as a silicone strap, as I understand it. So you get that look of leather, but the versatility and functionality of rubber or silicone. You can definitely get this wet. I think the website says that it has a 2.5-year warranty, 30 months. It's kind of a weird number, but guarantee or warranty or whatever. I mean, it's supposed to hold up. Yeah, leather doesn't last forever. Rubber doesn't last forever. Because it has that top leather coating. It's not going to be something you're going to go scuba diving in for years and years and years. But nevertheless, yeah, overall very impressed. It is as comfortable as I assumed it was going to be, with the very, very, very flexible, bendable, and breathable material. Yeah, overall, I like it quite a bit on this dive watch, and I might keep it on there for a little bit. Alright, I wanted to try one more. I wanted to put a watch on this leather, not exactly NATO strap. They call it the Rebel strap. Again, here's the hang tag for it. Rebel 20mm with $79.95. I wanted to try a watch on this strap and see how it wears. See if I can get it kind of all in frame here as much as possible. So you can see you have the keepers and the floating keeper, and the watch is mounted. Maybe I'll just slide it off and show you. The watch is mounted on these little leather loops like so, and then slide it through kind of like a NATO strap, but, you know, not exactly. And then put it, you know, wherever it needs to go. This does function like a NATO strap in that if one of your spring bars fail, you're still secured to the strap by the other spring bar. So it's kind of like a NATO strap in that regard. And of course it's going to make your watch wear 3 millimeters higher off the wrist because, you know, it passes underneath the case back. But yeah, I'll try it on and I'll let you know what I think. This is actually a pretty cool little strap system. A hair longer like I thought it would be than maybe I would like, at 240 millimeters in total length. You can see it kind of starts to protrude over. I could go one notch tighter. I have it pretty loose. If I go one notch tighter, it's really going to start showing the tail of the strap over the edge of my wrist. So if you have a larger wrist, for sure this will work for you. If you have much smaller than 6 3/4 inches, you might find it a little too lengthy. Maybe they will do some shorter variations of this in the future. If they do, I would definitely suggest it for just about anyone. It's a cool little system. It's kind of like that, you know, the bund strap that usually those kind of flare out real wide with the leather here, and the watch, you know, secures into that leather. It's kind of like a low profile version of a bund or bund or however you pronounce that style strap. Those straps are just a bit too much for me. This would be kind of a perfect alternative to get that kind of style, but more low profile. And a little bit more, I don't know, not dressy, because this certainly isn't dressy, but maybe a little more refined than a standard, typical NATO strap, be it leather or cloth. So yeah, it's cool. I like it. Just wish it was slightly shorter to better fit my wrist. Alright guys, there we have it. A whole bunch of leather straps by Hirsch. I would definitely recommend any one of them. Overall, yeah, I'm really impressed. I will definitely hang on to a bunch of these. I'll probably give some of them away in the future because I can't possibly wear them all. But yeah, overall, again, thumbs up from my end. And thanks again for tuning in. As always, a quick final shout out for Amy there at Global Watch Band, globalwatchband.com. If you're looking for Hirsch straps or Hadley Roma, they also sell those. Go check out globalwatchband.com. I believe they ship worldwide, so, you know, if you're overseas outside of the United States, give them a look. I'm not getting paid or promoted or sponsored to do this video. This is purely a gift of some straps and an offer to do a review, so that's what I'm doing here, just to make that clear. Yeah, that's it guys. Thanks a lot. If you want to help support the channel, check out the description. There's a number of ways that you can do that. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Help me out on Patreon if you can. Head over to my Patreon account. The link is down below. And as always, if you want to help support the channel by purchasing anything that I've reviewed in the past, you can always go to Amazon by clicking on my affiliate link down below. I get a small commission if you buy anything that I've reviewed or anything else, and that really does add up. A big thank you to the guys that have been using that Amazon affiliate link for about the last year or however long I've had it. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to sign off and say bye now.